All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mack, Play Fast Football. Today we're going to look at a hot topic that's out there right now. All right, TCU 335 does not mean stack defense, all right? I'll go through all that. Make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat, sideline replay system we use at Bishop Kenny High School. I use it at the school I was at previously. Absolutely love it. Great customer support. They're always there to answer a question if you have any problems, even on game days. Make sure you check them out. Dome Headwear, which is the hat company that we use for Play Fast Football and Bishop Kenny High School, completely customizable. Online hat builder. Design any hat you want. Different styles, different colors, different logos. Fitted, snapback, Velcro, you name it, they can do it. Every hat has a story. Let Dome help you tell the story of your hat. Baker Sporting Goods, company we use for our players' gear, our coaches' sideline gear, our uniforms come from there. We have a school store where teachers and other coaches can get items online, and we have a fan store where our fans can get stuff. So it creates one convenient location to get everything you need for your program. JustPlay, which is the playbook software we use. All right, it's the best play drawing tool on the market, in my opinion. I use it for my Patreon site. I use it if I'm going to speak at any clinics. We do our installs through there, and then they also have some great features with quizzes where you can quiz your kids on playbooks and game plans to get a better understanding of your players' knowledge. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. Get thousands of reps without needing a partner. We have a couple in our weight room here at Bishop Kenny High School. You're working on striking, elbows in, thumbs up, what your eyes should be doing, what your hips should be doing, and you are developing the skill of striking off season, in season. All right, don't need a partner. It's a great tool. Make sure you check out DifferenceUSA. So, big pet peeve of mine in football, right? Vocabulary, terminology, understanding of things. Personnel. 335 does not mean that you are a stacked defense. And I think a lot of people are running TCU through the ringer, saying, oh, they're going to play, how is this going to hold up? How is that going to hold up against Michigan? They're going to play these stack looks. They're going to be able to, you know, how are they going to handle this? How are they going to handle that? If you watch TCU, if you watch Iowa State, who started kind of the whole thing, if you watch Kansas State, these are 3-3-5 teams that are almost never in 3-3 stack boxes. Now, they may use 3-3 stack boxes as an answer to bigger personnel groups to get a six-man box, but a lot of the times they are playing from 3-2 boxes, and because they're 3-high teams, all right, they are creating lighter boxes and supporting runs from the back end with all three safeties involved. Okay, so 3-3-5 does not mean a stack team. Now, back in the old days when it was a lot of 3-5 teams, it was true stack. It was 8-man front. It was single high. It was cover 3, man free, a ton of exotic blitzes and movements. Okay, that's originally kind of where it started. But when you get into today's game and what teams are playing, 3-3-5 is just the personnel on the field. So when Iowa State made the change a couple years ago, Matt Campbell walked in the defensive room and he said, hey, look, this is the personnel I want to play with. I want 3 down linemen. I want 3 linebackers. I want 5 secondary players. You guys figure out how to do it. All right, and that's kind of basically the way I understand the story went. And if they were getting ready to play Texas and they made the change to their kind of 3-high structure and started in Tampa 2 and then it morphed into a bunch of other things. But, the bottom line is Coach Campbell told them because of the roster, because of who they recruit, because of the players they can get at Iowa State, this is the way we need to play football. So it's a personnel grouping. If you are a 3-4 team, that doesn't mean you need to be 2-gap straight Okie defense. You could be an underfront or a reduction team. If you're a 4-3 team, all right, it doesn't need you don't need to be split field. You could be rip blitz match, or you could possibly be, all right, 3 deep. You're just going to be limited with some of the things the Sam linebacker can do. If you're a 4-2-5 base nickel team like TCU created, it's funny that TCU is now on the defensive side of the ball back in all the talks again, because they were one of the first teams to play nickel defense 4-2-5 with a third safety on the field all the time. That allowed them to match up with more of the spread open teams, because with the safety instead of a Sam, all right, now we can truly play more coverages because that kid can do more things because of the body type that he is, right? But the 4-3 and 4-2-5 teams, they can play over front, they can get into under fronts, they can change the front. They can do a bunch of different things. The personnel just tells you the types of bodies that are on the field. Yes, it will have an impact on the structure you play, but it doesn't define the structure that you play. So when you look at 3-3 stack versus, all right, pro personnel, 21 personnel, all right, you would think of the 3-3 stack box, 6-man box, 3 down linemen, 3 stack linebackers behind it, dogs or safeties rolled down, free safety somewhere in the middle of the field. Okay, we played this style of defense for a couple of years, a few years ago at the school I was at. We played it with split field coverage. We didn't play it single high. Okay, so that is what you think of when you think of 3-3 stack. All right, if you were to watch Iowa State, TCU, Kansas State, a lot of the teams that are playing it now, I will bet you that 90% of the time you will see some version of a 3-2 box. Okay, and less than 10% of the time you will see a 3-3 box when you watch those teams play. So all the people that were talking on social media and all the comments, like the Michigan quarterback said, oh, if they're going to play that stack defense, we're going to be able to do this or that, or we're going to run the ball here or run it there. Those are all misnomers in the game of football, because that doesn't mean stack defense. 3-3-5 does not mean stack defense. I promise you, I've studied it, I've looked at it. If you watch Kansas State play Alabama, there are way more 3-2 boxes. Even in the TCU game against Michigan, 3-2 boxes. If you watch Iowa State play, 3-2 boxes. Will they get into a 3-3 box? Yes, they will. All right, but does that mean 3-3-5 makes them, all right, a stacked football team? No, it does not. 3-3-5 says they want to play 3 down linemen, they want to play 3 linebackers, and they want to play 5 secondary players. Now, the 3 high structure that we currently play, that I got from Iowa State, that is becoming unique and different. All right, and in the next year or so, it probably won't be much different anymore. But that was different because of the way that that middle safety presents himself in the run fit, in the coverage pattern. All right, you've got to figure out, is it split field coverage and he's the Mike? Is it drop 8 coverage and he's in the middle of the field? You know, obviously there's a bunch of different 3 deep rotations. There's Tampa 2. We play it as a straight split field deal. Our middle safety acts as a Mike linebacker in our coverages. Our Mike linebacker is a spy, add-on 4th rusher. We play the same split field coverages we played when I was 3-3 stack and when I was 4-2-5. We haven't changed the back end. You know, we've wrinkled it, but we haven't really changed how we play the back end in the last 14 years of my career coaching. Okay, so for us, our 3 high stuff is a different way to play our split field coverages, and it's a different way for us to fit runs from the back end, right? Why do we do it? We have less defensive linemen, right? So why force a 4th defensive lineman on the field when we don't have those bodies? We have linebackers that we like, so we like playing with 3 linebackers. But we also have secondary players and safeties that we like. So we want to fit our roster to our scheme. So we're a 3-3-5 personnel team, right? But we are not a 3-3-5 stack team. We're not your old 8-man front, all right, 2 dogs on the outside, free safety in the middle, a lot of man free or a lot of 3 deep or, 0 blitzes. That's not what we do. And the more you study it, that's not what TCU, Iowa State, Kansas State does. All right, that's not what they do. They play with lighter boxes. They play with different fronts. They're not all tight front. They're usually shaded one way or the other. All right, but when you watch those teams play, they are playing lighter boxes, and 90% of the time it's a 3-2 box. I promise you, it's very rarely a 3-3 box. All right, it's usually a Sam that goes to the passing strength, and he's usually walked out. All right, and most of the time it's going to be the Mike and the Will that are in the box. All right, when you watch them play open teams, 2x2, it's going to be a 3-1 box. All right, but the middle safety is the guy that fixes all that. So the misnomer that's out there is that TCU is playing a 3-3 stack. No, they're not. All right, they're very rarely playing 3-3 stack. They play with 3-3-5 personnel. Why? They like more speed on the field. They like limiting big plays. They like the roster that they can build off the 3-3-5. Okay, they don't think they can build a roster off of playing 4 down. Okay, that's their choice. They're a college program. They happen to be in a national title game, so great for them. Now that they're in a national title game, 3-3-5 is going to get, all right, a lot of talk. It's going to be a lot of buzz. Iowa State was really the first one to do it a couple of years ago and had some really big runs in the Big 12, won some really big games, and then next thing you know, Clemson and Venables are going to visit Iowa State. How you playing this 3 high stuff? Some NFL teams went down and talked to them. How you playing this 3 high stuff? And it really came from them saying that we want to play defense differently for our roster, right? So, a lot of the times the big thing in the game we see now is we see so much more spread-orientated, like 11 personnel stuff, right? So you see a lot of these slot sets where you've got that tight end. He's no longer a fullback sniffer. He's really a tight end, all right? And he's in a position where he's creating a 3-man surface, but he's off the ball, which means he can travel, and he can go vertical right away. So I guarantee you when you watch teams play, you are not going to see them, the majority of the time, line up in some type of deal that is 3-3 stack in a box versus those sets. All right, when you see those sets, if you study TCU, Kansas State, Iowa State, I will almost guarantee you, all right, don't want to say I'm going to bet anybody, but I almost guarantee you that you will see a lot of times Iowa State will play the shade 4-eye to the back, shade the nose, play the 5 there. You're going to get the Mike and the Will in the box. The Sam's going to be walked out. You're going to get a corner and a safety. You're going to get a third eye safety that's going to relate to number 3. And then on the back side, you're going to play all their single side coverage deals. But you're going to see the 3-2 box. Okay, that's why they went to it. They had to defend more spread. It was kind of the Big 12 defense, the spread killer, and now everybody's finding out a way to play it more as a base. And now that you see TCU in the national championship game, it's going to get all the talk. The problem is that I have with it is when it gets all the wrong talk. It is not a stacked defense. That's not what they do. That's not how they play. You've got to look more into the structure of it. It is 100% 3-3-5, all right, on their base downs. Okay, but it is not a stacked defense. That's not what it is. The same way 3-4 doesn't have to be painted into a certain picture. 4-3, 4-2-5, those are just personnel groupings that you are choosing to play with. All right, now, a lot of people will look and they'll say, well, they gave up 50 points and 500 yards to Michigan. At the end of the day, they won the game. Okay, I don't think you can take the structure and say they gave up that many points and yards and say that the structure isn't very good, because I believe Georgia gave up 41 or 42 points to Ohio State. Does that structure stink? I believe Alabama gave up over 50 points or high 40s to Tennessee. All right, and they went on a run for a couple of years where they were giving up over 40 points to Ole Miss and Texas A&M and a lot of the spread teams. Does that defense stink? I still see, every time I turn on, or I check my Twitter, social media, everything else, I still see Saban's name out there. I still see Kirby Smart's name out there. All right, does Georgia play a bad structure of defense because Ohio State scored 41 points? Not a fair argument for TCU. They won the game. All right. First 3 drives, Michigan went down the field. I believe they held them to 3 field goals, so bend, don't break. It's a style of defense that they're choosing to play because it fits their personnel. And now, as a college team, you've got to go out and recruit that personnel. So if you choose to play it in high school, I guarantee you there are 3-3 stack. True stack teams that are winning state titles. They won state titles this past year. They won several. There is nothing wrong with that defense. I played it. We played it with split field, not one eye, but there's going to be single high, middle of the field closed, 3-3 stack teams that are winning state titles across the country to this day still. I guarantee it. Just like there's going to be 4-2-5 teams, 4-3 teams, 3-4 teams. There's going to be teams that you see line up in old school 50, all right? Probably 3-4 personnel, but 5 down, almost double eagle. Every down, man free, bring in pressure, send in at least 5, and they're going to win state titles. So the structure is what fits you, what fits your team, what can you do best, and how are you going to play with that personnel. Okay? The personnel doesn't make the structure. The structure can be whatever you want it to be. You just have to use that personnel. So 3-3-5 does not mean stacked defense. Please do not confuse the two. All right? Again, pet peeve of mine. Excuse me, it just bothers me when people say that. That is not what it means. All right, it means personnel group, 3 D-line, 3 linebackers, 5 secondary players. Be more versatile versus spread teams. Cover more vertical threats. Have the ability to play different coverages because you have more back-end players. And then, when you face the big boys and you face the 12s and the 21s and the 22s, what's your answer going to be? If that answer happens to be 3-3 stack, then yes, 3-3 stack is part of the system to create a heavier box when teams add helmets in. It does not mean 3-3-5 teams play stack defense, okay? So hope this video helps you guys. I hope it kind of enlightens some people on the current argument that's going on out there on social media with TCU and what they are. And actually Kansas State is very similar. Iowa State was the founder of the whole deal, and you can see several teams out there that play it at one point or another. So it's a really good structure. Probably light box theory. The Rams started doing it in the NFL, maybe not exactly with 3 high, but light box theory, changing the fronts a little bit, getting runs sent where you want them, making people think that they have light boxes that they can run into, and then shutting that down real quickly. So it's a whole philosophy behind it, a theory of playing football. They're 3-3-5 because it's how they want to build their roster. Those are the kids they feel like they can put on the field. And I think it is a great tool for high school teams because the places I've been and the teams that I've seen, more often than not, your defense at your school would fit a 3-3-5 personnel group much more than it would a 4-2 or a 4-3. And even if you want to be a 3-4 odd team, I think high school teams are always going to have more linebacker safeties than they will D linemen. The schools that have a bunch of D linemen are probably the schools that are winning a lot of state titles and winning a ton of games. Hard to find those kids. If you play with 4 of them, you probably need 7 or 8 of them, all right, with tempo and injuries and things that are going on, and the way offense plays football now. So to find 8 D linemen that can put a hand on the ground in high school, really tough scenario. So I think 3-3-5 personnel, excuse me, is great for the high school game. So I think there's more people should be looking into how TCU, Kansas State, Iowa State, and a lot of other teams are playing that version of that defense. All right. As always, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please turn your notifications on so you know every time we do a video or every time we go on YouTube Live. Make sure you like, thumbs up, thumbs down videos if you like them or you don't like them. Leave a comment. I always like to interact with everybody whenever I get a chance. All right. If you're going to be in Charlotte, AFCA this week, I will be there running around a little bit with Dome, Game Strat, Just Play, catching up with some of our partners and then catching up and networking with coaches that I haven't seen in a long time. So if you're there, make sure you check us out. If you're in Orlando in February for the Nike Coach of the Year, come check us out. Going to be doing at least one session there. Right now scheduled to do a session there, so make sure you check that out. Got the Patreon site going on. Also got a new podcast coming out. The Two-Man Vice, myself and head coach Tim Krause are going to be doing a podcast. So a lot of things going on. 10-year anniversary. Thank you for everything you guys do for Play Fast. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast, and I will see you guys next time.